Good evening, everyone. I have a quick question for you. Do you think that ideas have power? Yes. Absolutely. History has proven it and leadership demands it because great leaders have great ideas. And here, let's take a look at some great leaders. Madam C.J. Walker. Because of her great idea to start her own hair care product line, she became the first African-American millionaire. Because she did this not only made her a billionaire, but she inspired a generation of people to do the same. And today, the hair care industry is over $1 billion. Steve Jobs, he revolutionized technology by giving us the iPad, the iPhone, and the iPod. We remember that, don't we? But the best thing is that being able to FaceTime your loved ones that live miles away or around the corner or your kids downstairs in the living room, that's the best. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man of inspiration and motivation. Because of his leadership in the civil rights movement, he not only inspired us in the U.S., but all around the world. Because great leaders have great ideas. And when we think about how we come up with ideas, this is what we think about. This is how we get our ideas together. We get them from a thought or inspiration, something that sparks our curiosity. A solution to a problem. We are always trying to solve a problem or fix some type of systems. A driver of innovation, always thinking about new movements and new inventions. But it's not only a good thing to think about it, we have to implement ideas. Here's an African proverb. Knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. It's not merely enough just to have an idea. Absolutely not. You have to implement the idea. That's what makes the difference. Let me share a story with you. When I was an assistant principal back in 2017, 2018, I remember I had to call the ambulance 3 times in one day. It was the most emotionally draining day of my career. No college prepared me for that day. I had girls in the bathroom self-harming. I had girls at home self-harming. And I had girls that were thinking about self-harming. And to me, this signaled a problem. Did you know that 17.6% of teens reported self-harming behaviors? 17.6%. That is a high number. Without having social workers all day in the school, I became the social worker. I became the person that had to help these girls deal with this problem. So what did I do? I had to figure out an idea. So back in 2015, I wrote a book, an affirmation book for teen girls. But that just wasn't enough. I couldn't bring them to the table with just that book. So I had to think of something more robust that would lead to more conversations. So I created a guide called A Teen's Guide to Self-Empowerment. With my book and this guide, I created a workshop called the I Know My Worth Workshop. I met with these middle school girls 45 minutes a week, once a week, and we went through this guide. We talked about their home life. We talked about their experiences. We talked about boys. We talked about girls. We talked about anything that they wanted to talk about. But the most important part was that I was able to give them some coping strategies to deal with their emotions. No, I'm not a social worker. I was an assistant principal. But at the time, I had to figure out something, a solution to that problem. And those girls left that circle feeling so inspired, so motivated. And at the end, that was the end goal, to ensure that I gave them something to go to high school to ensure that they were better. Because great leaders have great ideas, but you have to implement those ideas. So I continue to expand and build on this idea. I wrote an affirmation book for teen boys. I rewrote the workbook and created a curriculum, a social emotional learning curriculum for teens and adolescents called Healing and Restoration Circle for Teens and Adolescents. It's currently being implemented the 3rd year at my school, and we have impacted over 100 students. Now, great leaders have great ideas, and we get inspired by things through observation and things that we see. When I became the principal of Donahue, which, by the way, is one of the best schools on the South Side, go Bulldogs, I noticed something. I noticed that the dads were so active. They were coming up to the school. They were coming to conferences. They were picking up their kids. They were bringing lunch. They were volunteering. They were going on field trips, and I was in awe. I was inspired, and I was proud. And I said to myself, no one knows that the narrative has changed. The community doesn't know that Black dads are in their children's life because that always hasn't been the narrative. So I had an idea. I said the community and the world needs to know that the narrative has changed. So I created what I call Black Dads Rock. Black Dads Rock is an event that I host every year at Donahue. I bring in dads all over across the city. I'll go on Channel 9, I'll go on Channel 32. I promote the event. I bring in speakers, and it's an hour event. And our dads learn about mental health, physical health, financial health. We've created a space for men of color to just pour out their emotions. They leave this event feeling supported and being a better father. Because did you know that 52.2% of Black children live with their biological fathers in 2023? Because the narrative has changed. So it was important for me to let the community know that the narrative has changed. And to date, every year, we bring over 100 dads in our school. So today, I want you to think about some ideas. I want you to think about how can you be a better leader and implement ideas. So I have an assignment for you real quick, because I'm an educator, of course. So I want you to do something. Close your eyes. You got them closed? You feeling it? I want you to think about those ideas that you have on your heart, that you have in your mind, that's been floating around, that you've been afraid to do, that you've just been thinking about. I want you to think about those ideas. You're thinking about them? I'll give you a few more seconds. All right, open your eyes. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe next week, but I want you to take a pic of one of those ideas. And PIC is not what you think it is. It's an acronym. I love acronyms. The PIC of your idea is your why. Why should I implement this idea? And here's why. The P in PIC stands for powerful. I want you to know that your idea is powerful and it will change the world. So take a moment and pick in an idea. It's powerful. The I in PIC stands for inspire. Your idea will inspire everyone. And then there will be a ripple effect of great ideas, just like Madam C.J. Walker. Because of what she did, she created a billionaire industry off her one idea. So be a leader and inspire somebody with your idea. C stands for cultivate. As a leader, it's not always about us. We cultivate others' idea. We create a climate and culture that fosters a growth mindset to help others be successful. So help someone cultivate their idea. And then once you do that, I want you to move on your idea. MOVE is an acronym. When you think about the word move, move is a verb, and a verb shows action. You all get an A. The M in move stands for mindful and meditate. When you pick that idea, I want you to sit quietly. I want you to meditate on that idea. I want you to seek whatever higher power you believe in. I want you to ask for clarity and focus. I want you to see that idea happening. I want you to see it coming to life. Then I want you to be mindful of that idea, mindful of who it's going to impact and how it's going to change the world, because it's going to happen. The O in MOVE stands for overcome obstacles. When you pick your idea, you've meditated on it, and you see it, challenges are going to come because life is always going to life. But I want you to be the resilient leader that you are. Stand tall, overcome those obstacles optimistically. A positive mindset is always key. Then that V in MOVE stands for vision. As a leader, you must have a vision, because without a vision, the people will perish. Your team and all of your stakeholders need to know why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and what you want to do, because you can't implement your ideas alone. You need some help. And the E is the most important part of MOVE. Everyone say execute. Execute. Say execute. Execute. You have to execute the idea in order for anything to happen. You could think about it, you could see it, you could believe it, but faith without works is dead. So you have to execute that idea to make a change in the world. Leaders lead by faith, not by fear. All leaders have the ability and are great as the ideas that they bring to life. So today I want to challenge you. Pick one of those ideas and think about how can you move it forward. Thank you.